Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox with another great episode of Nashville 2. You're Nashville 2, so let's tell your story. Do you know somebody that maybe needs to come on the show? Have them reach out to me, or you can reach out to me for them. Who's doing some great things around Nashville and needs to be promoted? There is no cost to this. We just want to raise awareness of different people that are helping the community and doing different things in the community. And when I came to Nashville back in 2020, when I bought a business here, I didn't know anybody. And so this was a great way for me to get to know about different things. And today I've got a special guest. I've heard him speak multiple times. You guys, some of you might know him. Jerremey Newsome. G'day, Jerremy. Thanks for being on the show.
My man. It's an honor and privilege to be here. Thank you so much for taking both the time and your energy to allow this to happen. I'm excited.
Well, and that's one of the things that attracts me to you is the energy that you had from stage. And actually, when you jumped off stage and in amongst the crowd was great. So, Jerremy, tell us a little bit about, did you grow up in this area of the country?
I did not, my brother. I grew up in Georgia. So I was born and raised about 30 minutes south of where they filmed the movie Deliverance.
I'm not going there. There's some jokes there, but I'm not going there.
That's right. A few jokes there for sure. But it was out in the middle of nowhere, South Georgia. And I lived there for 12 years. And then my dad got a big boy job and we moved from Georgia to Gainesville, Florida, where we lived in the outskirts of Gainesville, Florida. Lived there for 12 years, and I've been in Nashville, Ed, for 10 years now.
Okay, cool. And so for people that may not be familiar with you, you have a book that I'm enjoying right now called Money Grows on Trees, folks.
Oh,
so
you're so cool.
I have it here, and well, you can see I'm not very far in, but I have been enjoying it, and we have a lot of things in common that we talk about there. Now, I'm not a big fan of editing. What about yourself, Jerremy? When you do podcasts and stuff, and we'll get back to the other story in a minute, but do you like to do a lot of heavy editing, or do you just tend to do light edits?
Man, I have Yeah, exactly. I have a podcast with Brittany Turner, who's a big Nashville famous person. Anyway, so our podcast is called Broke to Woke, and we did 4 episodes. Each one is like 20 minutes long, no edits at all. Right. So we just click record. But yeah, I think just natural and raw is always a good way to do it.
Yeah. I think because I'm writing this book called Be Authentic. Unless you're a serial killer, then don't be that change. Right. Because authenticity matters. Right. Yeah. People want to know the genuine you. So getting back to your story, with your book, how long ago did you write this book?
That's a really good question, man. I published Money Grows on Trees in late 2016.
Oh, okay. And your story is great. So let's cover that a little bit about, for people that don't know who Jerremy Newsome is, give me a version.
Absolutely. So I escaped a cult at the age of 24. I became a liquid millionaire in my mid-20s. I lost it 3 separate times from 3 separate crazy, tragic, totally unrelated accidents. And now I currently teach current and future world leaders how the stock market works and how they can use it to become a true force for good in both their communities and their cities and their countries.
Well, that is the short version.
Yeah, I also like the short version.
I also like the part where you talked about how you watched Forrest Gump and got the Apple stock. Talk me through that a little bit too.
Yeah, man, of course, because that was a big turning point for me, man. In 1995, approximately, that movie comes out, Academy Award-winning film, and me and my dad watch it on our couch with my oldest brother, and we're in there watching the film. And about 80% of the way through the movie, Forrest Gump talks about his experiences, his life experiences, and he said that him and Lieutenant Dan invested into a fruit company, and they no longer had to worry about money ever again. Well, that was the first time I'd ever heard that phrase. We don't have to worry about money. That was a brand new paradigm shifting moment for me. So once I learned and realized that there's people out there that don't have to worry about money, that was a big, big shift for sure. So I asked my dad, what's investing? What's the fruit company? I wanted to know all about it. So he did. He told me about Apple. He told me about the stock market. He told me about how it works to the best of his ability. And ever since then, man, I just kind of really, really been motivated by wealth, because we all might remember towards the end of the film what Forrest Gump actually does with the money, right? He retires Bubba's mom out of the kitchen. He builds a school, a hospital, a church, and just really pours back into the community. And that, to me, was really at my core. The reason I wanted to get wealthy is because I knew that it helped other people. And to decrease your stress in life, right, not having to worry about money, and then being able to really provide and give generously, felt like and seemed like an incredible way to live. And so that was just rooted at my core to then really go down that path and seek wealth as best I could. So after my dad tells me about Apple, I beg him to buy some shares. And he's like, listen, that's for rich people, right? That's not for regular people like you and me. So I begged him and begged him and begged him. Eventually he said, listen, if you bring me some money, I'll match it dollar for dollar.
And how old are you at this time?
I'm 6.5, 7 at the time.
Okay.
Yep. So I go down the dirt road, start picking random wild blackberries, and I sell them door to door for $1 a bag. And a bunch of cute old ladies, and just random people, they give me $5, $10, $20 every now and then. And I end up making $1,500 in the summer of 1995. And true to his word, he matched the money, and we put $3,000 worth of Apple stock into Apple at that time. And that was almost ironically the exact bottom of Apple. That's when Steve Jobs left and got fired, and the whole debacle there.
Yep.
So yeah, man, got at a good time.
And of course, you got rich out of that, and you lived happily ever after.
Almost. Almost. It definitely did get me rich, but not wealthy. There right. Can be a difference sometimes. And at the age of 12 in 2000, we sold that Apple stock because we were moving. And my dad's like, this is the greatest investment that you'll ever do in your life. So we had taken $3,000 and turned it into 12. And so that $12,000, I asked him what we should do with it. And he said, we need to do something really safe. So we bought bonds. And when I was 18, I sold those bonds for $12,064 and bought a big screen TV and a couch and paid for it, a down payment on an apartment that I was staying at for college. So it was quite interesting. But then I went to college for finance. That's why I was studying at the University of Florida. Go Gators. And even though at the time I wasn't learning exactly what I intended to learn, right, I still ended up getting my degree, and it was a great experience. But I just started studying outside of school, going to seminars, classes, just like you and I met, in-person events, and taking the information that I learned from, Forrest Gump and my dad's age, right, into really actually learning how to trade the market and using this as a constant way to create wealth.
And I think one of the key elements there is my dad used to say 3 frogs sitting on a log, they all decided to jump off. How many were left? 3, because they didn't take any action, right? They all wanted to achieve something, but they didn't actually move off and actually take the actions they needed to move themselves forward. And what you story that you illustrated was that you went out and you collected bags of blackberries. That was the action you took to be able to create the money to be able to get your dad to match it.
I really like that saying, decided to jump off the log.
Right.
Because you would think like, oh, they jumped off the log, but no, just a decision to do something is easy. Ideas are generally free. They don't cost anything at all. So implementation is what's going to change dramatically every single person listening or watching this. That's how your life is going to get changed, is the implementation of your ideas and your dreams and your beliefs about what's possible. But more than that, the only way to become financially free, AKA really wealthy, is to buy assets. And assets are very, very intricate, beautiful parts of the wealth game, because they are something that either appreciates in value over time while you do nothing, right? So it grows over time without you doing anything at all, or it puts cash into your bank account, right? It takes cash flow and puts it into your life without you having to do very much active work. So that's the only way to create true wealth, is to buy assets.
Right. So I left school at 15 and started my first business, right? Did a convenience store in Australia, $100,000 the first year, 1983. Didn't have a clue what I was doing. 1984, 85, 86, my parents are working with me. We build it up to 300 grand, 500 grand, burn out, sell, move on. You've done similar things, and you probably have the same sort of conversations I do with people that say, oh, I'd love to get involved in the stock market. I'd love to learn how to do that stuff. I'd love to learn how to start a business. I want to start a business. And they take no action. Do you run into that a lot?
All the time, man. Yeah, all the time, because it's really just the fear of what happens after that. Like, the idea sounds cool, the belief sounds cool, but then doing it, as crazy as it might sound, right? Here's my notebook, and I try to take some notes, every single day and just write things down, right? Dreams, goals. I try to write as often as I can, because even that action, Ed, will stop a lot of people. The action of physically taking pen and taking paper and writing down your goals, writing down your dreams, writing down your beliefs, writing down your fears, just that action will stop a lot of people, because subconsciously you might have a fear that, what if someone reads it and thinks I'm crazy? What if someone reads that and then they immediately begin to judge me or cast judgment my way towards something that I feel like I could do, but maybe I'm not perfectly qualified for? That fear is what stops us. Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. So it's the fact that we've never been there before is what terrifies us.
And I think along that line, fear of success will bother some people more than fear of failure. They're, like you said, that becoming successful beyond measure, fear of failure, yes, okay, we don't like loss, but I think not knowing how to handle the success either is crucial.
Yes.
So yes. Writing down your ideas, right? That's another thing I talk to people about, is write down your ideas, because you never know when that idea is going to foster another idea. That idea might be shit. It might be crap idea, but it can lead to another idea. So many of us want to edit our ideas in our head before we even write them down. If, like you say, most of us would never write them down. I have the idea for this. Well, did you write it down? Is it in a journal somewhere? Oh, no, I don't think it would work. How do you know? Try it, right? So write down your ideas, but don't edit them in your head. Don't edit them in your head. Write them down, as stupid as they sound, in their raw format, and then look at them. Would you agree with that?
1,000%. 1,000%. Just get it down, because just taking that action shows God, shows the universe, shows whatever, shows that you're serious. It shows that you really care. It shows that you're willing to take some form of decisive action. Decisive action, massive action, whatever you want to call it. With little clarity comes little results. If you are not extremely, extremely clear on what you want to do, why you want to do it, where you want to do it at, what it looks like, what the numbers look like. I love that you use the word stupid, because really a lot of our ideas initially will be pretty dumb. They're not going to be the perfect thing. But don't worry about the perfect thing. Worry about, does it make sense financially? Does it make sense based on your time? And will it solve a problem? Will it actually help people? Because if your idea truly helps people, then I can assure you that it will bring in monetary reward, because that's the law of the universe. If you start giving people things, helping people, and providing value and assistance to others, you will become more wealthy.
That to me is the mantra that I tell people to start businesses with. Don't try and start a business that doesn't solve a problem. Okay.
That's it, man. And it doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter if it's, well, my cookies are sugar-free, but they taste amazing. Great. That's a problem. If no one else in your city sells cookies that are sugar-free, you have something that stands out that people might want. If you cut grass, right, that's a problem, because people want their grass to be cut. So you provide that solution. If it's hair cutting, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be this amazing, incredible philanthropic thing, right? You don't have to be saving lives and saving babies. But if your business is something that you love, something that intrigues you and solves a problem, it will be worth your time to explore it.
Yeah. And I think there's a time to innovate and create ideas, but there's also a time to imitate. Folks, if you've got sugar-free cookies, this diabetic here, he wants to hear about your sugar-free cookies. So be sure to send me a direct message. I will taste test any sugar-free cookie for free. For free, I'll taste sugar-free cookies. So just thought I'd get that out there.
100%. You've got
Thanks,
to.
Jerremy.
That's smart.
I appreciate that. So I love starting businesses, right? I love buying into businesses. I love building businesses. You've chosen to do a lot of different things, but I think a lot of your emphasis is on learning the stock market. Would that be true?
For about a little over a decade, yes, absolutely. I am a serial entrepreneur, so I do have at this point about 36 different businesses that I own, run, or operate. And again, I have an amazing team that helps me with so many aspects of that, because what excites me is the market at this point in my life is easy.
Right.
And that might sound wild to some people, but the stock market's a lot of second grade math over and over and over. And the way I see it is, if we can create something that from the ethereal, right, aka the stock market, something that's non-material, non-physical, and I can take money from there and then put it into something that I can touch, see, smell, feel, eat, understand, that excites me as well. That process, because I truly do view that as also an amazing wealth game, being able to pour in money, right, into other aspects of the world that creates true value for other people. And the stock market was just the beginning of it. It was kind of like my launching pad, and it's still my foundation. It's still what I go to. That the stock market saved my life, man, more than one time. And it has absolutely been the vehicle to create financial freedom for thousands of people that, I have access to in my phone, right? People that have made real life-changing wealth because of that asset known as the stock market.
And how do you address people that maybe feel they're not worthy or they don't have the skill set? You offer training programs and the like, I do believe.
I do. And most of them are free. The majority of them are free, actually. 99% of everything that I create is entirely free for anyone to watch anywhere in the world. And I wanted to remove that barrier for individuals, right? The barrier to, okay, I want to learn this, but most people are very sleazy, unfortunately, in the stock market world. And it's because the pot of gold is bigger than any other pot of gold, right? You can make, there's a 0.00001% chance that you'll ever make it into whatever, any professional sport in any country. And then once you make it there, there's still a relatively small degree that not only you're going to make legit money, but you'll be able to keep that legit money. It's even smaller. So we're talking a bunch of zeros, right? And then a percent of the probability that you can create real amazing wealth for your family through a professional sport. But you've heard this phrase a lot. 95% of people fail trading the stock market. That means 5% win. And 5% is magnitudes larger than the amount of individuals who try to get into professional sports, baseball, football, soccer, basketball, cricket, so hockey, all right, the list goes on.
Yeah.
That is a legitimately ridiculously huge spread between the people that try to do this and fail and the people that actually do this and fail, because the people that actually win, 5% is a massive, massive number. And in my world, the people that actually learn and spend time doing it, it's actually closer to 25%. 25% of the people that go through my classes and program, which I view as a huge success, 25% of people will end up becoming full-time, active, profitable traders.
Yeah. And I think you're exactly right. We forget, whether it be, when network marketing is really strong and a lot of people are out prospecting to add you to their direct sales company or their network marketing company, and people that don't get it look at it and go, well, but 95% of people fail that, or everybody I know has failed that. Yes, but some people succeed. Just like you're saying in the stock market, to not try because a small percentage make it, that means it's not a passion for you. You're not interested in that. So find something you're interested in. I'm not a good carpenter. You don't want to put a hammer and a saw in my hands and have me try and flip houses and make money that way, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a handyman. But there's people that do that sort of stuff really well. My dad was one of them. And he could make money off doing that. If you have a skill or a passion or an ability, then do that. But I would say that if your passion or your skill was to learn and to implement some of the strategies that you're saying, and you don't have a way, if you haven't figured out a way, then check out Jerremy's stuff online and see whether that could be the way for you. And how would they find you, Jerremy?
And thanks, man, for the shout out, by the way, Ed. But yeah, the company's name is reallifetrading.com. So just like it sounds, REALLIFE trading, reallifetrading.com. Also, you can Google me and find me on any social media. I have an amazing social media team that'll make sure that your message goes through the spam check. And then once it hits my inbox, I would love to reach out and message you and connect with you and have a conversation with you about your journey, about where you're at, about how we can continue to scale and grow. Because at the end of the day, Ed, I love what you said, man. This might not be the path for you, but it's the path that will lead to the path, right? It's absolutely a direction for some people to go down to become financially free. I have a really good example of a guy named Bob. He lived in Augusta, and he went 2 or 3 years through my program, just didn't make it. He didn't like it. He was too impulsive. He wasn't disciplined enough. He wasn't patient enough. He really couldn't follow a plan of rules when it came to the stock market, because the stock market is very fast and very fluid and very liquid. Yeah, which is okay. Yep. Like, that's fine if you're not that great at it. But he had conversations with me, and we talked about it, and I directed him towards drop shipping and using an Amazon store. So he created an Amazon store and specialized in, ready for this, bee houses, right? Beehives, small little like figurine beehives for people to put around their house. Crushed it. Made like $250,000 in sales in his first year. So essentially, like, there's just so many ways, but what the stock market will do is open your mind to the amount of wealth that's out there. That's what it will do for sure. And once your mind gets expanded, it almost never shrinks. And the key to truly developing an amazing wealth consciousness is expanding that mind first.
Well, Jerremy, hey, thanks so much for coming on the show. Would you come back for a second episode? Would that be cool?
Let's do it, my guy. I would love to.
Well, let's split this one into two. We've both got a little bit more time. So let's stop this one here. We'll get that one out, and then we'll do the next one, okay?
Can't wait.
Awesome.
This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host,